So I've always tried to be pretty transparent about the kind of gear and stuff, whether things have been sent to me or whether I'm being paid to demo them. You hear me talk about these things, when I'm doing a review or a demo, which is the very least that you should be doing by law, right? It kind of occurred to me because something happened where I can't really do an honest review or demo particularly anymore. I just wanted to explore that today as I've been sort of attacked in the garden by a bush. I was just thinking about this a little bit.
This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses.
So essentially my dad sent me a message the other day. He's like thinking I need an electro acoustic guitar for something, and he then sent me a link of a guitar that he was looking at on Marketplace, and I thought, well, it's his birthday, I'll try and get him something that I would like to play just in case I need to borrow it at some point, and then also Dad gets a nice guitar. But we're not talking a crazy amount. I think the guitar was on offer, but it would have been about $550-ish. It was about the sort of price that you could get it for. It happens to be a Yamaha. Now, I could have gone to some contacts at Yamaha and asked if I could get a free one of those. That would have been an option. I do have a level of connection with those guys where I imagine that would be doable, and I could do a review on it, but it felt like probably I should buy the guitar for my dad. It's supposed to be a present, right? I went to a retailer and just made an ordinary transaction like a normal person wouldn't, like I do all the time. This is the first time that this has happened. The guitar was supposed to be delivered Monday, so that'll be tomorrow, and I got an email actually saying thanks for your order, we're actually gonna give it a bit more of a going over and check it out a bit more. And I'm presuming this might be my ego getting out of hand, but now this is a retailer that the main guy has actually sent me messages on Instagram saying thanks for the reviews of the PRS stuff. I don't want to shout them out specifically here, but just in case it comes across as bad. But the point there being that if I buy a guitar from a retailer, which feels like the most honest way that I could do a review, the guitars that I'm getting from retailers now potentially are getting a different level of treatment than if someone else had bought a guitar from them. Anyone else buying this Yamaha guitar from this retailer, presumably they're going to do the normal level of checks. This other retailer, they're putting in an extra day of checks, whatever amount of attention that takes, but I'm imagining it's then going to mean that if there was flaws on that guitar, they'll select a different one, that sort of thing. Here's the other flip side of this though, that in the past, I've kind of felt like it's kind of my responsibility to point out things that are not quite right on a guitar. But in some ways, I do feel that that could be if it's just one guitar that you've seen from that company. Like, is it fair necessarily to put out something that is going to show that, and then people might get the impression that a lot of their guitars are like that. It could be that you get sent the outlier, which is a bad guitar. And this makes me think about sort of paid demos and stuff, and when you're asking a company and you're working with a company, they're sending you stuff. I would, if I was in that business of sending people guitars to show on their channel and demo and stuff, I would be probably selecting from stock rather than just a box that comes straight out of the warehouse. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd assume that would be fairly normal practice, that they go, okay, well, this guitar is going to a person, we need to have another level of checking up. So I'd like to know your thoughts on that. Do you imagine that that's something that companies generally do? It's not something that particularly would matter with pedals. I've never experienced a pedal coming broken. And similarly with amps, I think just feel like amps are quite simple things. They either work or they don't. But with guitars, it's a little bit of an area where like setup and all of these things are quite subjective, and there's quite a lot of like attention to detail that is needed to really get a guitar perfect. And little flaws, you know, like a poorly cut nut, high action, you know, frets that are kind of, the workmanship might be a bit sloppy. These are things that are really common across all guitars, really. Yeah, I just wonder if that's the sort of thing that you would select out for if you were sending them to people. So I did used to have some qualms about like taking payment for demos and featuring brands and stuff like that, in thinking that I was supposed to be like honest and doing honest reviews and all that sort of stuff. And I kind of now started to think, well, actually, kind of it's just people kind of, I think, know what you're getting on YouTube in general, like that it is an opportunity for companies to present their new gear to you. And normally, I think it's safe to assume that it's pretty obvious. I hope that people kind of know what you're getting. And either way, I'm going to try and talk to you as honestly as I can about each product that I demo, and hopefully that's fine. But it's becoming more difficult if people are going to spend an extra day, you know, working on a guitar, which is nice, I guess, for my dad, because he's going to get to play it. But if it was something that I was buying to review for the channel, I wouldn't really be able to say, oh, this is representative of like the normal level of guitar or service that you might get. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments if you've got them. It's just a thought that occurred to me. I'm looking, hopefully, to continue to work with various brands where there is like an understanding of this level of like, well, we need to talk about like the gear as it is. There's only been really one occasion where this was a problem, but I think in that case the guitar was not a good match in general, so that was fine. It was like a £99 starter guitar. I made a video that I let them see first, kind of just going through the guitar, and I didn't talk about super negative aspects about the guitar or like feeling depressed when playing it. I did talk about the tuning stability feeling a bit weird and like some of the fret work not being great, and that, yeah, but like the sort of things that I'd expect anyone to be pointing out about a guitar. Like the worst thing for me would be that if I demoed a piece of gear and I was actually really happy with it, like I am with the K-Line guitars, I'm quite nervous about that, like making recommendations, because like what if one of you guys picks up a K-Line guitar and it's like, well, this is junk, why does he like these guitars so much? It's not because I had a connection with K-Line, it's because the first K-Line that I got I really loved, and I've bought, you know, a bunch since then, and he has sent me a couple of guitars and given me discounts since, but the ones that you see me playing all the time, like the yellow K-Line and the blue K-Line, you know, you can tell that obviously I must like those things because I play them every single day. And you must be able to tell, I guess, that other instruments don't connect with me on the same level as those. So there is, I guess, through that, like an obvious, you must get that, right? Anyway, let me know your thoughts about this idea of kind of trying to be honest, transparent in this demo space, this review space, where you're kind of working with companies, or even not working with companies and you're just buying from a store and they recognize your name on the thing. Maybe I have to get my wife to start buying stuff. That's a good idea. Right, cheers for stopping by. I hope you're having a good weekend. Good luck with your gardens. Cheers.